So many of the workers or many of the people had advised me that if you are working at night, please do not take the short way, but take the main road.
अनि तर अब म जब बेलुका सुते उठ्दाखेरि 10 बजे ड्युटी पुग्नुपर्ने तर 10:30 त्यहीँ भएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि म अत्तालेर बाहिर जाँदाखेरि प्रभु मसँग बोल्नुभयो छोरा ट्र्याक्स बोक भनेर
So I woke up at 10:30, but my work was at 10 p.m. So I was in haste. So I was hurrying to go to the work. But at that time, God spoke to me, telling that, son, please take the gospel track.
अनि मैले सोचे मेरो प्रभुले त मलाई भन्नुभएको होला इङ्ग्लिस ट्र्याक बोक भन्नुभयो होला अनि मैले इङ्ग्लिस ट्र्याक बोक्न थालेँ
And I thought that God is asking me to take the English tract. So because of that, I took English tracts.
अनि जब म दैलोबाट बाहिर निस्केँ प्रभुले फेरि मलाई भन्नुहुन्छ इङ्ग्लिस ट्र्याक छैन इङ्ग्लिस ट्र्याक छैन
So whenever I got out of the door, that time God spoke to me telling that, son, I'm not telling you to take the English track.
अनि जब म फेरि रुमभित्र गएँ मेरो प्रभुले मलाई भन्नुभएको होला हिन्दी ट्र्याक्स होला भनेर फेरि मैले हिन्दी ट्र्याक्स बोक्न थालेँ
And again, whenever I entered my room, I thought that God is asking me to take the Hindi tracks. So because of that, I took Hindi tracks.
अनि त्यो पनि होइन भनेर फेरि प्रभुले मसँग बोल्नुभयो अनि मैले भने नेपाली होला भनेर नेपाली पनि होइन भन्नुभयो अनि प्रभुले मलाई एउटा तेलुगु ट्र्याक्स भन्नुभयो यो बोक्नु भन्दाखेरि यो बोक भनिकन मेरो आत्माले प्रभुले मलाई भन्नुभयो
Then again, I thought God might be asking me to take the Nepali track. But whenever I took that Nepali track, God told me no. And then I finally took the Telugu track and God told me that, yes, you need to take this Telugu track.
अनि म त्यो ट्र्याक्स बोकेर त्यो जङ्गल बाटो जहाँ चाहिँ मलाई नहिँड्नु भनेको थियो त्यो सर्टकट बाटो चोर बाटोमा गएँ
And after taking the tracks, the road or the short road that I was told not to go, that was through the jungle, and I went through that way.
अनि उहाँहरूले मलाई त्यति बेला म जाँदाखेरि पछाडिबाट आवाज आयो हे हे भनिकन मलाई कसैले बोलाएको मैले आवाज सुने
And while I was walking through the way, from the backside, a voice came to me telling, "Hey, hey."
अनि जब म रोकेँ मलाई 7-8 जना केटाहरूले वरिपरि घेर्यो
So whenever I stopped, I was surrounded by 7 to 8 young lads.
अनि जब उनीहरूले घेर्यो मलाई भन्यो मलाई सिक्रेट दे अनि मैले सिक्रेट छैन भने मलाई खैनी दे भने मेमा खैनी पनि छैन भनिकन मैले भने
And whenever they encircled me or whenever they surrounded me, they asked me the cigarette, and I told them I did not have any cigarette. And they asked me the tobacco and also told that I did not have any tobacco.
अनि उनीहरूले भन्यो मलाई 10 रुपैयाँ दे भन्यो तर मेरोमा 10 रुपैयाँ पनि गोजीमा थिएन
And they asked me to give them the 10 rupees, but I did not have even that small amount.
अनि जब गोजीमा मेरोमा एउटा तेलुगु ट्र्याक्स थियो अनि उनीहरूले मलाई गोजीमा यो के हो भनिकन उनीहरूले मलाई सोध्न थाल्यो
And I had Telugu tracks in my pocket, and whenever they got inside my pocket, they asked me, "What is this with you?"
अनि जब उनीहरूले मलाई त्यो प्रश्न गर्दाखेरि मैले उत्तर दिने राम्रो एउटा मौका पाएँ अनि मैले उनीहरूलाई भने मेरो पनि तिमीहरूको जस्तो जिन्दगी थियो मैले यसरी जिउँथे तर यो जिन्दगी हैन रहेछ मेरो आमा र मेरो बहिनीको लागि म यति टाढो तिमीहरूको जग्गामा म काम गर्न आएको छु भनिकन मैले उनीहरूलाई भन्न थालेँ
So whenever they asked that question, I had got a good opportunity to answer them. And I told them that I also used to live life like yours. But this is not the life we need to spend or we need to live. Listen, for my mother and for my sister, I have come far away to work.
अनि जब उनीहरूले मलाई हेरि नै राख्थ्यो एकपट्टि समाति राख्थ्यो एकपट्टि समाति राख्थ्यो चारैतिरबाट मलाई समाति राख्थ्यो तब मैले त्यो ट्र्याक्स मेरोमा अहिले पनि छ म यहाँ सधैँ बोकेर हिँड्छु है अनि जसले मलाई बचायो है प्रभुको ट्र्याक्स प्रभुको वचनले चाहिँ हामीलाई जीवन दिँदो रहेछ भन्ने कुरा यो ट्र्याक्स मेरोमा अहिले पनि छ यहाँनिर
So they were getting hold of me and they were beholding me, but because of that track, I was alive. And it is a true fact that the word of God keep us alive. And you can see here that I do still have that Telugu track.
अनि यो ट्र्याक्समा लेखेको छ व्हाट इज म्यान भनेर लेखेको छ अरु त अब कुनै पनि बुझ्दैन किन सबै तेलुगुमा थियो
So in this track, it is written that what is man?
अनि मैले अब त्यसै उनीहरूलाई सम्झाउँदा बताउँदाखेरि उनीहरूले मलाई हात जोडिकिन क्षमा मागिकिन उनीहरूले मलाई भन्छ ए हामीले तँलाई अर्कै केटा सोचेको त अर्कै केटा रहेछ सरी भनेर उनीहरू सबैले इन्ट्रोडक्सन गर्दै मलाई हात मिलाउँदै मलाई बाटो छोड्दियो
So whenever I was telling them about these things at that time, they all joined their hands and they asked forgiveness with me. And they told me that, sorry, we thought you as some kind of bad guy, but you are not such kind of person. So please do forgive us. And in this way, they introduced themselves to me and they left me to go.
अनि त्यहाँबाट म उम्केँ अनि म फेरि यता ड्युटीमा गएँ अनि त्यहाँदेखि फेरि नेक्स्ट घटना फेरि हैदराबादमै घटेको छ हजुरलाई त्यो पनि बताउँछु जब म हैदराबादमा फेरि नेक्स्ट टाइम हैदराबादमा फेरि होटल लाइनमा गएको थिएँ
So after that, I was able to escape and I was able to go to the duty. And now I'd like to tell you the second incident that happened in the Hyderabad. At the time also, I was in the hotel line.
अनि जब म हैदराबादमा जाँदाखेरि मलाई होटलमा त्यहाँ काम गर्नु नआउनु तिमीलाई ट्रान्सफर गरेको छ बेंगलोर जानुपर्छ तिमी होटलमा देखा नपर्नु भनेको थियो तर मेरोमा पैसा थिएन खाने बस्ने केही पनि थिएन तर एक हप्तासम्म चाहिँ मलाई हैदराबादमा बस्नु थियो
So at the time, whenever I reached to the hotel at Hyderabad, they told me that please do not come to this hotel. You are relocated to Bangalore. So because of that, I did not have any money to get to the Bangalore. And it was such a situation that I wanted to stay in Hyderabad for a week.
अनि जब म र एकजना दाजु सिलगढीको एकजना दाजु हुनुहुन्थ्यो हामी बस्ने रुमको लागि खोजीमा हिँड्यौँ यताउता गरेर बस्ने रुम त प्रबन्ध गर्यौँ पैसाको प्रबन्धै थिएन त्यसले गर्दा हामी बाटोमा माग्नु बस्यौँ
And me, along with one of the brothers from the Sikkim, we somehow managed a place to accommodate, our place to stay, but we did not have any money. So because of that, we went to the street begging the money.
अनि जब हामी बसिरहेका थियौँ बेलुका 8, 9, 10 यसरी बजिरहेको थियो 11 बज्नु आँटेको थियो एकजना मेरो चिनाजना होटलमा काम गर्ने एकजना साथी आयो
And it was the time 8, 9, 10 p.m. and it was about to be 11 p.m. And one of my non-friends, he came to the hotel.
अनि जब मेरो चिनाजना साथीहरूलाई मैले पैसा माग्नुको लागि एकजना साथी मेरो आयो अनि आउँदाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो एउटा गौरववाली साथी थियो अन्त आउँदाखेरि चाहिँ मैले उलाई पैसा मागे
So whenever non-friends came to me, at the time I lent my hand asking some money, and one of the friends, he came to me to give that money.
अनि उहाँले मलाई भन्नुभयो एकछिन पर्खी म पहिला खाना खान्छु खाना खाएर आउँछु ब्याक हुन्छु त्यहाँको आएर चाहिँ म तँलाई दिन्छु पैसा भनिकिन भन्नुभयो
He told me that please do wait for some time. I will have my dinner, and after having my dinner, I'll come back to you.
अनि जब मैले उलाई पर्खिरहेँ 10, 10:30, 11 बजिसकेको थियो त्यो खाना दिनभरि हामीले खानै खाएको थिएनौँ जब ऊ आयो उसलाई मैले 50 रुपियाँ मागे अब पैसा 1 रुपैयाँ छैन 1 हप्ता हैदराबादमा बस्नुपर्छ मैले 50 रुपैयाँ मागे उले मलाई दियो 50 रुपैयाँ दियो म पछि फर्काइदिन्छु भने तर कति दियो मैले त्यो चाहिँ हेरिन मैले गोजीमा हाले त्यो पैसा
So we had waited him for around 10:30, 11 p.m. and it was late. And throughout the day, we had not eaten anything. And to stay in the Hyderabad, I was in need of around 50 rupees for a week. And he gave me the money, but I had not counted how much he gave me, and I kept that money inside my pocket.
अनि जब उले मलाई मैले उलाई 50 रुपैयाँ मागेको तर उ ब्याक आएर मलाई भोकको धुनमा उले मलाई कति दियो त्यो पैसा मैले हेरिन मैले गोजीमा हालिकिन म गएँ
So I had just asked him for 50 rupees, but how much rupees he got me, he gave me, I did not count because I was very much hungry. So because of that, I rushed towards the home taking that money.
अनि जब सुन्नु हुँदै होला आवाज है तपाईँ
हजुर आवाज त सुन्दैछौँ तर
सुन्नुहुँदैछ
अड्के अड्के आएको छ
अनि जब मैले त्यो भोकको धुनमा उले मलाई पैसा दियो मैले पैसा मागेको थिएँ 50 रुपैयाँ मागेको तर उले मलाई कति दियो त्यो चाहिँ मलाई थाहा भएन तर मैले त्यो पैसा समातेर गोजीमा हालिकिन म हिँडेँ
So as I told you before that I was in need of 50 rupees and I had asked him 50 rupees. But since I was hungry because of in hunger, I did not count the money, how much he gave it to me. So because of that, I took that amount in my pocket and I went home.
अनि म एउटा बन्डीमा म र मेरो साथी गयौँ अब त्यो 100 कति दिएको छ मलाई थाहा थिएन अनि त्यो पैसाले चाहिँ अब 1 हप्तासम्म हामीले खानु पर्थ्यो
And I went to do the grocery shopping, and with that shopping, we had to stay alive for 7 days.
अनि जब त्यो हामीले 10 रुपैयाँको चाउमिन खायौँ अनि गोजीबाट मैले पैसा निकालिदिँदा चाहिँ त्यो मेरोमा चाहिँ बिचारा उसले 50 हैन 100 रुपैयाँ दिएको रहेछ अनि हामीले 10 रुपैयाँको चाउमिन खाएर बेलुका सुत्यौँ
So at that night, we went to the hotel and we took chow mein, and the cost of chow mein was 10 rupees each. And whenever I took out the money from my pocket to pay the amount, that brother had given me, that friend had given me 100 rupees. And after having the chow mein, we slept.
अनि जब त्यो 100 रुपैयाँले चाहिँ हामीले 1 हप्तासम्म चिया र बिस्कुट खाएर हैदराबादमा बितायौँ
And with that 100 rupees, by having tea and biscuit, we stayed in Hyderabad for 1 week.
अनि त्यहाँबाट फेरि मलाई बेंगलोर म जाने टाइम भयो अनि म बेंगलोर गएँ
And again, time came for me to get to the Bangalore, so I went to Bangalore.
अनि जब म बेंगलोरमा पुगेँ त्यहाँनिर धेरै नेपाली हाम्रो साथीहरू दाजुभाइहरू भेट्यौँ अनि त्यहाँ साथीहरू बनाइकिन होटल लाइनमा हामी काम गर्दैथ्यौँ
So whenever I reached Bangalore, I found many of the Nepali brothers, Nepali friends, and we all went to work at hotel line.
अनि जब त्यहाँनिर होटल लाइनमा साथीहरू भयो अनि उनीहरूको एकजना साथीको फुपूहरू त्यो होटलमा मेरो साथीलाई भेट्न आयो
So after working at the hotel line, one of my friends aunt, she came to meet him at the hotel.
अनि जब हामीले भन्यौँ तपाईँहरू कहाँ बस्नुहुन्छ भन्दाखेरि यस्तो यस्तो जग्गामा भने हामी छुट्टीको टाइममा चाहिँ हामी तपाईँहरूकोमा आउँछौँ भनिकन हामीले उहाँलाई भन्यौँ.
So whenever she came to meet whenever she came to meet our friend, at the time we asked her where she was residing. So because of that, she told that we are living in such and such place. And we told her that in our off time or whenever we have public holiday, we'll come to meet you.
अनि जब हामी हाम्रो विकली अफ हप्ता छुट्टीमा म र मेरो दाजु एकजना दाजु हामी त्यहाँ पुग्यौँ भने त्यहाँ त उहाँहरू त जापानिज टेम्पलमा यसरी बस्नु हुँदो रहेछ.
जापानिज के भन्नुभयो? टेम्पल?
जापानिज टेम्पल मन्दिरमा चाहिँ उहाँहरू बस्नु हुँदो रहेछ.
So whenever we went to meet her or her family in a weekend, we came to find that they used to live in Japanese temple.
अनि जब हामी भित्र पुग्यौँ उहाँहरूले हामीलाई देखेर खुसी हुनुभयो अनि उहाँले हामीलाई स्वागत गर्नुभयो. अनि त्यहाँनिर थाइल्यान्डको दिदीबहिनीहरू हुनुहुँदो रहेछ. अनि उहाँले हामीलाई चिया दिनुभयो. अनि तपाईँहरू त कति भाग्यमानी, हाम्रो ताउ आउनु भएको छ, उहाँको ज्ञान तपाईँहरूले पाउनुहुन्छ अब भनिकन उहाँहरूले हामीलाई भन्नुभयो.
So whenever we reached that place, they received us gladly, or they welcomed us gladly. And there were also the sisters from Thailand, and they happily served us the tea. And they told us that someone is here, and we are very much fortunate to provide you some doctrinal things, or we are very much happy to tell you something.
अनि जब हामीलाई भन्नुभयो यसको लागि 100 चन्दा चाहिन्छ भन्नुभयो. हामी दुईजना म र मेरो त्यो दाजुले अनि 100 दिएर चाहिँ हामी त्यो ज्ञान बाँड्ने जग्गामा गयौँ.
So, and they told me that in order to receive that knowledge, we have to pay 100 rupees. So because of that, we donated 100 rupees to receive that knowledge.
अनि जब हामी भित्र त्यो ज्ञान बाँड्ने रुममा गयौँ भए त त्यहाँनिर यति ठुलो मूर्ति, बुद्धको मूर्ति रहेछ.
So whenever when we reached to that place where we could receive the knowledge, we found out that there was a great statue of Buddha.
अनि जब त्यहाँ भित्र पुग्यो मेरो त जिउ पुरा काम्न थाल्यो. अनि म त के गर्नु भ्लाट्टै निस्किनु पनि सकिनँ. एकछिन त्यहाँ उभिए अनि त्यहाँको एउटा जवान केटाले नाकले भुइँ छुएर ढोक गरिरहेको छ अनि भन्छ तपाईहरुले पनि त्यसै गर्नुस् भनिकन हामीलाई भन्न थाल्यो.
So whenever I saw that thing, I was very much shaken, and I also could not get out of that spot immediately. And the thing is that one of the young lad from that place, he was touching the floor with his nose, and he also told us to do the same.
अनि जब म त त्यो त गर्नै सकिनँ, ढोक्नै सकिनँ. अनि म हतार त्यो दाजुलाई भने एकछिन पर्खिनुहोस् म आउँछु भनेर फेरि म बाहिर आएँ.
So I could not bow down. So because of that, I told that brother, I'll go out and I'll come back after some time.
अनि एकजना थाई केटी मेरो पछि आउनुभयो.
And one of the Thai girls, she came to me.
अनि इंग्लिशमा भन्नुभयो तिमीलाई के भयो भनिकिन उसले मलाई भनिरहेको थियो.
And she told me in the English, brother, what happened to you?
अनि मैले उहाँलाई भने म त इंग्लिश त्यस्तो जान्दिनँ थिएँ, अलिअलि टुटाफुटा इंग्लिश बोल्थे. अन्त मैले यति नै भने उहाँलाई जीसस इज ट्रू गॉड, अदर इज आई डोन्ट नो भनिकिन मैले उहाँलाई इंग्लिशमा यसरी भने.
So at the time, I was not well versed in English, and in my broken English, I told her, Jesus is only the true God, other God I do not know.
अनि जब मैले त्यसै भन्दाखेरि उहाँहरू रिसाउनु भयो. अनि हाम्रो त्यो 100 रुपैयाँ पनि ब्यागमा हामीलाई फर्काइदिनु भयो. अनि हामी फर्केर आयौँ.
So whenever I told that girl, she became furious. She got very much angry, and she returned our 100 rupees, and we came back.
अनि त्यसरी नै म 2-3 वर्ष यसरी 3-4 वर्ष म यसरी बाहिर काम गरेँ होटल लाइनमा अनि फेरि म पछाडि फर्केर दार्जिलिङ आएँ।
So in this way, I worked in hotel line for 3 to 4 years, and I returned to Darjeeling.
अनि जब यहाँनिर एउटा होटलमा यहाँ दार्जिलिङमा पार्क भन्ने एउटा रेस्टुरेन्ट छ, रनिङ रेस्टुरेन्ट, त्यहाँनिर मलाई कामको लागि अफर आएको कारणले गर्दा म त्यहाँ काममा जोइन गरेँ।
So in this Darjeeling, there's a restaurant called Park Restaurant, and an offer came to me. So because of that, I went to that restaurant for work.
अनि त्यसरी काम गर्दै जाँदाखेरि मेरो बिहा गर्ने उमेर भयो है। अनि मैले एकजना मसँगै काम गर्ने एकजना मेरो साग दाजु हामी सँगै काम गर्थ्यौँ। अनि त्यति बेला म दाजु दाजु भन्थे। उहाँले उहाँको साली हुनुहुन्थ्यो अनि उसँग बिहा गर भनिकन उहाँले मलाई भन्नुभयो।
So while working at that hotel line, there was one of the brother who was working with me. And since I was at the age of marriage, he told me that please do marry with my sister-in-law.
अनि म त अब बिहा भनेपछि अलिक अप्ठ्यारो लाग्थ्यो किनभने अब मेरोमा यस्तो कुनै एबिलिटी नै थिएन, मेरोमा यस्तो कुनै ब्याकिङ थिएन। त्यसले गर्दा मलाई आँटै आउँथेन बिहा गर्ने चाहिँ।
So at the time, since I did not had any kind of abilities or the good things with me, so because of that, I was very much uncomfortable with the marriage, and I did not had any thought about marriage.
अनि जब मैले त्यसरी समय बित्दै गयो उहाँले मलाई भन्नुभयो। अनि मैले भने उहाँलाई अब मैले अन्त पछि अन्त उहाँले फोन नम्बर दिनुभयो उहाँले मलाई। अन्त मैले फोन गरेँ उहाँलाई। अन्त म त पुरा कामै अन्त यो कहाँ पर्यो भन्दाखेरि यस्तो यस्तो जग्गामा भन्दाखेरि मैले ठिक जग्गामा परेछ भनेर मैले फोन काटिदिइहालेँ।
So and then he gave me her number to call her, and whenever I called her, I was shaking very much, and I was tremoring very much, and I told her, where is this place, or where did I call? And she told me, you called in this is location, and I told that, oh, this is the right location, and I hung up the call.
अनि त्यसरी हाम्रो बात हुँदै जाँदाखेरि अनि म त अब त्यतिबेला अलिअलि अब सन्डे स्कुलमा बसेको कारणले गर्दा मैले उसलाई भगाउनु पनि सकिनँ किनभने मेरोमा त्यस्तो पैसा थिएन, पैसा रुपियाँ थिएन, पवित्र बिहा गर्नु मेरोमा त्यस्तो हैकत पनि थिएन। त्यसले गर्दा तर मैले भगाउनु पनि सक्दिनँ किनभने म अब सन्डे स्कुलमा बसिरहेको थिएँ। फेरि सानो नानीहरूले के सोच्छ होला मलाई हेरेर भनिकन मलाई त्यो चिन्ता थियो।
So in this way, we kept on talking. And since I was in Sunday school, or I used to go to the Sunday school at the time, I did not have any courage to run away with her, or I did not wanted to elope with her because I used to think that what will the children learn from me if I do so. And the next thing is that I did not had enough money to do a good marriage.
अनि जब मैले यता सम्म बडाज्यूलाई भेट्नु आएँ अनि म बेलुका ब्रेक हुन्थ्यो 3 बजेदेखिको 6 बजेसम्म ब्रेक हुन्थ्यो। त्यो अवसरमा म आइकिन यहाँ हाम्रो सम्म अङ्कललाई भेट्नु आएँ।
So in my workplace, I used to have break from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And taking that opportunity, I came to meet Elder Samma.
अनि जब म यहाँ अङ्कललाई आएँ खासै म बिहा गर्छु भन्नुको लागि आएको तर मलाई आँटै आएन, भन्नै सकिनँ मैले।
So I had gone to meet Uncle Samma to tell that I wanted to marry, but I did not have any courage to tell him that.
अनि जब उहाँले मेरो लागि प्रार्थना गरिदिनु भयो, अब तिमी जान्छौ होला हैन, लु जाऊ तिमीलाई ढिलो हुन्छ भनिकन उहाँले मलाई भन्नुभयो।
So after he prayed, he told me that you might be late to go to your work. So because of that, he told me that you can go.
तर म चाहिँ बिहा गर्छु भन्ने हेतुले आएको तर मैले भन्नु सकिनँ किनभने अब बिहा गर्छु भन्यो भने पैसा छ भनेर सोध्ला, भरे मैले छ भनुला, जा लिकिन आइज भन्ने मलाई डर किनभने मेरोमा पैसा पनि थिएन, मेरोमा केही पनि थिएन। तर मलाई म चाहिँ बिहा गर्छु भन्ने चाहिँ सम्म अङ्कललाई चाहिँ म भन्नु आएको थिएँ।
So the very intention that I had gone to meet him was to talk about my marriage, but I thought that if I tell him that I wanted to marry, then he will tell me that, do you have money? And if I tell that, yes, I have money, then what if he tells me that go and bring money? Because at that time, I did not have any money to bring.
अनि जब मैले कसो कसो गर्दाखेरि मैले भनिपठाएँ, अङ्कल म त बिहा पो गरौँ भनिकन मैले उहाँलाई भने।
Somehow I managed to tell him that, Uncle, I'm thinking of getting married.
अनि उहाँले मलाई भनिहाल्नु भयो, पैसा छ भनिकन उहाँले मलाई सोध्नु भयो।
And he asked me, do you have money?
अनि अब मैले छैन भने त बिहा कसरी गर्छस् भन्ने मलाई डर भयो। अनि मैले छ भने उहाँलाई।
So I was scared, or I was worried that if I tell him that I do not have money, then he will tell me that how will you get married. So because of that, I told him, yes, I do have money.
अनि मलाई एउटा डर भयो, प्रश्न भयो, जा लिकिन आइज भन्छ भन्ने मलाई डर भयो। तर उहाँले त्यसै भन्नुभयो, जा त्यो पैसा लिकिन आइज भोलि भनिकन उहाँले मलाई भन्नुभयो।
And as I told you before, that I had a fear that if I tell him that I have money, he will surely tell me to bring that money. Yeah, he told me that, please do bring money whenever you come tomorrow.
अनि मैले उहाँलाई भने, मेरोमा चाहिँ 20,000 छ भनिकन मैले उहाँलाई भने।
And I told him that I just got 20,000 rupees.
अनि उहाँ हाँस्नु भयो, अब 20,000ले मङ्गनी पवित्र बिहा भनिकन मैले, हुन त मलाई अब अनुभवै थिएन बिहा, अब कहिले मैले त्यसो त्यो मलाई थाहा पनि थिएन। अनि मैले उहाँलाई भने मेरोमा 20,000 छ भन्दाखेरि उहाँ हाँस्नु भयो।
So whenever I told him that I just got 20,000 rupees, he smiled, because with that 20,000 rupees, it was not possible for the engagement and also for the holy marriage, because I did not have any kind of experiences before.
अनि जब मलाई भन्नुभयो उहाँले पैसा लिकिन आइज, म पैसा अब जोगाड गर्नुको लागि म निस्के।
So whenever he told me to bring money, I went out to manage that budget.
अनि मैले हाम्रो विश्वासी एकजना दाजुकोमा गएर 10,000 मागे, अनि एकजना विश्वासी दिदीलाई गएर 5,000 मागे, अन्त अझै एकजना विश्वासी दाजुलाई गएर मैले 5,000 20,000 बनाइकन मैले भोलिपल्ट लिकिन यहाँ सम्मङ्कलाई दिएँ।
So in this way, I went to one of the brothers who was a believer. I asked 10,000 rupees from him, and from another sister, I was able to get 5,000 rupees, and from another brother, I was able to get 5,000 rupees, and in this way, I somehow managed 20,000 rupees, and I went to Uncle Samma.
अनि उहाँले मलाई भन्नुभयो, ठिक छ 20,000ले मङ्गनी बिहा भन्दैछस्, तर तेरो सुट त छ नि हैन भनिकन उहाँले मलाई सोध्नु भयो।
So in this way, he told me that you are thinking of finishing this engagement and this marriage within 20,000 rupees, but are you sure that you wanted to get married?
अनि मैले उहाँलाई भने, म त सोचेको थिएँ स्वेटर र सर्ट लाउँछु त्यसरी बिहा गर्छु, मेरो त केही पनि छैन भनिकन मैले सोचेँ। तर उहाँले मलाई घरिघरि सुट छ भनिकन मलाई उहाँले सोधिरहनु भएको थियो।
So I thought that in my marriage, I'll be just putting on the shirt and the cardigan. But time and again, he asked me, do you really have suit?
अनि जब मैले त्यतिकै त्यो सुट छैन भइहाल्छ भनिकन मैले टाढै राख्थेँ, भरे एक दिन आउँदाखेरि उहाँले टेबलमा चाहिँ सुट पिस सजाइदिइरहनु भएको थियो।
So since I had ignored the fact that I needed the suit for my marriage, but one day whenever I came to him, or whenever I went to him, there was a good suit lying on the table for me.
अनि जब मैले त्यो सुट पिस देखेँ मलाई अचम्म लाग्यो, किनभने अब त्यो सुट पिस किन्दा नै 20,000 जस्तो लाग्थ्यो होला। तर उहाँलाई अब थाहा भएको कारणले गर्दा उहाँले त्यो सुट पिस चाहिँ अब त्यो टेबलमा सजाउनु भएको कारणले गर्दा उहाँले मलाई भन्नुभयो, म अरू केही सुन्दिनँ, यो सुट चाहिँ तिमीले सिलाउनु लैजाऊ भनिकन उहाँले मलाई।
So whenever I saw that suit piece, I was greatly amazed, or I was greatly surprised, because in order to buy that suit pieces, it would cost me around 20,000. But he told me that I do not know anything, but the only thing I know is that you must put on this suit piece whenever you are getting married.
अनि जब मैले त्यो अनि जब त्यो लुगाहरू किन्दाखेरि मेरो 20,000 त
Recording in progress.
त्यो लुगाहरू
Recording in progress. अनि जब मेरोमा त्यो 20,000 पैसा थियो अनि त्यो 20,000बाटै सुट मै लाग्यो 2100 अनि त्यो के पो बेहुलीको लुगाहरू किन्दा अनि औँठी नै छ्याट लाग्यो त्यसरी त मेरो 20,000 सबै सकिनु आँटेको थियो पैसा
So I just had 20,000 budget, and out of 20,000 budget, 2,100 went for that suit pieces. And then in order to buy bride's clothes and other rings and other things, my whole 20,000 was spent.
अनि जब त्यो पैसा सबै सक्यो उहाँले अनि सम्म अङ्कल जब इङ्ल्यान्ड या कहीँ जानु आँट्नु भएको थियो अनि उहाँले भन्नुभयो म सबै कुराको तँलाई प्रबन्ध गरिकिनै जान्छु भनिकन उहाँले मलाई भन्नुभयो
So after all my money was spent, and at that time, Uncle Samma, he was about to leave for the England, but he told me that before I leave for the England, I'll manage everything for you.
अनि जब मलाई फोन आयो फेरि मेरो ससुरालीबाट है अनि उहाँको दाजुहरूले बाबाहरूले फोन गर्नुभयो जय हामी एक्लै बिहा गर्न सक्दैनौँ मिलेर गर्नुपर्छ 15,000 फेरि मलाई हामीलाई पठाइदिनुस् भनिकन उहाँले भन्नुभयो
So at the time, I got a call from in-laws, and my brother-in-law called me, and he told me that, brother-in-law, we will not be able to do this marriage individually. So because of that, please do send us 50,000 rupees.
तर 20,000 पैसामा सबै कुरा नै सकिसकेको थियो मेरोमा 15,000 त के मेरोमा अब 100 रुपियाँ पनि थिएन गोजीमा
So since I was out of budget because I had just 20,000 rupees and it was all gone, and I did not have even a single penny.
अनि जब मैले पछि सुन्दा मैले त्यो पैसा देख्नु पनि पाइनँ तर यहाँनिर अब प्रभुको लोकहरूले कसले अब मिलाइकिन दिनुभयो त्यो मलाई थाहा छैन तर ससुरालीमा 45,000 पठायो पछि पैसा
But it is a surprising fact that I do not know how that money was managed, but God's people, they had sent 45,000 rupees to my in-laws.
अनि जब गाडीको प्रबन्ध हुनु पर्थ्यो अब सन्डे स्कुलमा मैले कति अब अलिअलि सन्डे स्कुलमा अब बसेको कारणले गर्दा सन्डे स्कुलको नानीको आमा बाबुहरूले भन्नु थाल्यो यो बेहुला र बेहुलीको लागि हामी आउनु जानु गाडीहरू गरिदिन्छौँ त्यसरी सबै कुरा प्रभुले प्रबन्ध गरिदिनु भयो
And for that marriage, it was required a car. So because of that, the parents of the children of the Sunday school, since I was in Sunday school, so because of that, the parents of Sunday school children, they told that we'll manage back and forth travel cost from the Sunday school.
अनि त्यसरी प्रभुले मेरो बिहा गरिदिनु भयो अचम्म प्रकारले जस्तो मेरो लागि असम्भव थियो है अब जस्तो म बिहा गर्दिनँ भन्थे किन मेरोमा यस्तो कुनै एबिलिटी थिएन तर मान्छेमा असम्भव भएको कुरा चाहिँ प्रभुमा सम्भव छ भनिकन मैले अनुभव गर्न पाएँ
So in this way, God managed to do my marriage. And the thing is that whatever thing we feel impossible, it is possible in God. Because I used to think that I do not have any kind of abilities, or I do not have money, or I do not have any kind of things to get married.
अनि फेरि जब बिहा गरेँ त्यसले मेरो फेरि 15 महिना बाद मेरो श्रीमती जब नानी मेरो छोरी जन्मियो अनि मेरो छोरी जन्मिँदाखेरि 2 महिनाको हुँदा मेरो श्रीमती साह्रो बिमार भयो.
So after 15 months of my marriage, my wife, she conceived a baby girl. And after the child was born, and after 2 months, my wife, she was very much sick.
अनि जब हामीले सिलगढी लग्यौं ऊ एकदमै कन्डिसन उसको राम्रो थिएन त्यसले गर्दाखेरि अनि मैले एक दुईवटा उसँग प्रश्नहरू राखे अनि मैले सोधे उसलाई तिमी बाँच्यौ भने के गर्छौ भनिकिन मैले उलाई सोधे.
So since she was in very critical condition whenever we had taken her to the Silguri, at the time I managed to ask her a couple of questions. And the first question I asked her was, what will you do if you will be alive?
अनि मेरो मिसेसले मलाई भन्यो म बाँच्यो भने प्रभुको सेवा गर्छु.
And my wife told me that if I live, then I'll surely serve my or our God.
अनि जब मैले अर्को प्रश्न गरेँ अब म चाहिँ के गर्नु भनिकिन उसलाई सोध्दा उसले मलाई भन्छ तपाईले प्रभुकै सेवा गर्नुस् ल भनिकिन उसले मलाई उत्तर दियो.
And the next question, whenever I asked her, what shall I do? Then the answer was that you also need to serve the God.
अनि जब उसले मलाई अब मेरो अवस्थालाई देख्थ्यो तब उसले मलाई भन्थ्यो नरुनुस् म रुको छुइन म मर्यो भने पनि स्वर्गमा जान्छु एक दिन हामी भेटि त हाल्छौं भनिकिन उसले मलाई सान्त्वना दिन्थ्यो.
And she saw my pitiful condition because I was very much weeping, I was crying, and seeing that, she told me that, please do not cry. See, I have not cried, but even though if I die, we have a hope that we'll surely meet in heaven.
अनि प्रभु चाहिँ अब विश्वासयोग्य हुनुभएको कारणले गर्दा अब नानी सानो 2 महिनाको अब मिसेस त्यसरी प्रभुले लानु भयो है. अनि नानीलाई अब कसरी दूध दिनुपर्ने उलाई कसरी अब स्याहार्नु पर्ने मलाई एकदम साह्रो परिरहेको थियो.
So our God is very much faithful. At the time, my wife, she died, and my baby girl, she was just 2 months old, and it was very hard for me to feed her, to take care of her.
अनि जब मेरो मिसेस प्रभुले उठाउनु भयो त्यति बेला ठिक्कै मेरो आफ्नो मेरो एउटा मेरो बहिनीको चाहिँ छोरा जन्मियो.
And whenever my wife was promoted to glory, and at that very time, my sister's baby was born.
अनि जब मेरो बहिनी जब सारो कन्डिसनमा उसको नानी हुनु आँटेको थियो तर एकदमै सारो उ पनि बिमारी भयो.
And my sister, while she was conceiving her child, at the time she also got very much ill.
अनि जब मेरो बाबा सानोमै बित्नु भएको कारणले गर्दा मेरो आमाले त्यति कान सुन्नु हुँदैन त्यसले गर्दा म उसको गार्जियन चाहिँ मै थिए. त्यसले गर्दा उसको जब त्यो नानी जन्माउने त्यो च्याम्बरमा म जान्छु भन्दा पनि मलाई पस्नु दिएन.
So since my father died at my very young age, my mother, since she cannot hear, so because of that, I was the legal guardian of my sister, and I told the doctor or the nurses that I wanted to go to the chamber where my sister was put, but whenever I requested, they denied my request.
अनि मेरो बहिनीको चाहिँ के भएको थियो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ ब्लड एकदमै कम्ती भएर उसको ब्लड पनि ओ नेगेटिभ भएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि ब्लड खोज्दा पनि नपाउँदाखेरि चाहिँ सिस्टरहरूले डाक्टरहरूले भनिरहेको थियो यहाँनिर बोनसाई गर अन्त मात्रै हामी राख्छौँ नभए उसको अवस्था राम्रो छैन भनिकिन भनिरहेको थियो.
के गर भन्नुभयो?
जब मेरो बहिनी जब नानी हुनुभन्दा अगाडि चाहिँ उसको ओ नेगेटिभ ब्लड कम्ती थियो, ओ नेगेटिभ ब्लडै पाएन उसको. त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अन्त उसलाई सिलगढी लानु नभए हामी हेर्नु सक्दैनौँ यहाँ हुँदैन भनिकिन डिक्लेयर गरिरहेको थियो डाक्टरहरूले.
So at that time, my sister, she was lacking the blood and her blood was O negative. So because of that, the nurses told me that it is not possible for her to treat here. So please do shift her to Silbury.
अनि जब मैले एकदमै रिक्वेस्ट गरेँ, मैले हात जोडिकन भने मलाई एकपल्ट मेरो बहिनीकोमा जानु दिनुहोस्, म उसको गार्जियन हुँ, म त्यहाँ गएर सानो प्रार्थना गर्छु भनिकन मैले उहाँहरूलाई रिक्वेस्ट गरेँ.
So I pleaded with them by joining my two hands, telling that please do let me go at her place. I'll pray for her.
अनि जब मलाई जानु दियो तब म त्यहाँ घोगाटिकन मेरो बहिनीको लागि प्रार्थना गरेँ.
So whenever I was allowed to go to that place, I knelt down and I prayed for my sister.
किनभने उसको ओ नेगेटिभ ब्लड भएको यहाँ दार्जिलिङमा एकदमै कम्ती मानिसहरू भएको कारणले गर्दा त्यसले गर्दा ब्लडै पाएन, ब्लडै उसलाई भएन, एकदमै ब्लडै पाउनु साह्रो पर्यो, ब्लडै पाएन उसको लागि.
Since in Darjeeling there were very few amount of people who had O negative blood, so because of that it was very much somehow like impossible to manage O negative blood for her.
अनि जब मैले त्यहाँनिर गएर घोडा टेकेर प्रार्थना गरेँ, हाम्रो प्रभु विश्वासयोग्य हुनुहुन्छ जसले उसको प्राणलाई थामिदिनु भयो र उसले नर्मल प्रकारले नै नानी जन्माउन गए.
So our God is very much faithful that whenever I prayed, because of the grace of God sustained her life. So because of that, she had normal delivery.
अनि जब मेरो बहिनीको नानी भयो अनि मेरै बहिनीको दूध खाएर मेरो छोरी 9 महिनासम्म हुर्के.
So whenever my sister, she conceived her son or her baby, my daughter, she also was breastfed by my sister, and in this way for 9 months my baby girl, she was breastfed by my sister.
अनि यसरी प्रभुले आफ्नो विश्वासयोग्यता मेरो जीवनमा मलाई व्यवहारिक प्रकारले प्र्याक्टिकल प्रकारले लानु भयो र उहाँको परिचय चाहिँ दुःखमा पाइदो रहेछ भन्ने कुरा मैले अनुभव गरेँ.
So in this way practically God took towards my faith, and in this kind of sorrowful or in this kind of trouble condition we can see God.
अनि जब मेरो बिहाको टाइमको प्रतिज्ञा थियो, क्यालेन्डरको प्रतिज्ञा थियो, अगस्त 8 तारिक शनिबारको दिनको प्रतिज्ञा थियो, यौन 1427 म तिमीलाई शान्ति दिन्छु भन्ने प्रतिज्ञा थियो.
So during the time of marriage there was a calendar verse. It was the day Saturday of August 8th. And the promise was from the book of John, chapter 14, verse 27, I'll give you my peace.
अनि जब मैले त्यो शान्तिको कुरा सुने म सन्तुष्टि भइन, किनभने बिहाको टाइममा त म तिमीलाई तिम्रो सन्तानको वृद्धि गर्छु, म तिमीलाई आशिषमाथि आशिष दिन्छु भन्ने प्रतिज्ञा हुन्छ. त्यसले गर्दा म अलिकति कन्फ्युज भएँ त्यो प्रतिज्ञा देखेर.
So since I got the promise about the peace, at the time I was not contentful, or I was not happy about this promise, because I thought that for the marriage I would get such kind of promise telling that I'll multiply your descendants and I'll give you blessings over blessings.
अनि जब मेरो मिसेसलाई प्रभुले उठाउनु भयो 2016 नोभेम्बरमा र 17 को क्यालेन्डरको विश्वव्यापी करार बीचमा थियो, यौन 1427 म तिमीलाई शान्ति दिन्छु भन्ने.
So my wife was taken up by God in the year 2017 in the month of November, and in the year 2020 the universal motor card promise was the one of the promises from that motor card was from the book of John, chapter 14 and verse 27, I will give you my peace.
अनि त्यति बेला मैले प्रतिज्ञाको अर्थ बुझेँ, प्रभुले चाहिँ प्रतिज्ञा दिएर हामीलाई सम्हाल्नु हुँदो रहेछ.
So at the time I understood the importance of promise, that God would take care of us by giving the promise.
अनि प्रभुले जुन सालमा मेरो श्रीमतीलाई 2016 मा नोभेम्बरमा प्रभुले उठाउनु भयो, त्यो साल मेरो अनि 2017 मा मैले प्रतिज्ञा टिप्दा प्रभुले मलाई प्रतिज्ञा दिनुभयो.
So in the year 2016 God took my wife, and in the year 2017 I picked up a promise.
यिर्मिया 31 को 13 पद.
And it's from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31 and verse 13.
म पढिदिन्छु। तब तरुणीहरू आनन्दले नाच्ने छन्, जवान र बुढाहरू हर्षित हुनेछन्। म तिनीहरूको शोकलाई हर्षमा परिवर्तन गरिदिनेछु। म तिनीहरूलाई सान्त्वना दिनेछु। तिनीहरूको अफसोसको सट्टामा रमाहट दिनेछु।
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 31 and verse 13. Then shall the virgin rejoice in dance, both young men and old together, for I will turn their mourning into joy and will comfort them and make them rejoice from their sorrow.
अनि प्रभुले यसरी मलाई सान्त्वना दिनुभयो र आजको दिनसम्म प्रभुले भन्नु त धेरै गवाईहरू हुन्छ है, तर अब समयको अभावले गर्दाखेरि मैले एकदमै छोटकरीमा जानुपर्यो, किनभने 1 घण्टाको समय उहाँ यहाँ हाम्रो दानियल दाजुले भन्नुभएको थियो। अनि त्यसरी प्रभुले मलाई सान्त्वना दिनुभयो।
So in this way, God kept on giving me the comfort or the consolation. There are many things that I could have talked about the testimony, but since I am given just 1 hour of time, or Brother Daniel told me that I just have 1 hour of time to give testimony, I just gave you my testimony in brief.
अनि अन्तिममा एउटा सानो उदाहरण म हजुरको समक्षमा राख्छु।
And finally, I'd like to put forward one example before you.
एउटा नौकामा एउटा श्रीमान र श्रीमती त्यो समुद्रमा पार गरिरहेका थिए।
In a ship or in a boat, there was a husband and wife traveling.
अनि जब उनीहरू समुद्र बीचमा पुग्छ तब डरलाग्दो हावा आदि बेली आउन थाल्छ।
So whenever they reach to the middle of that ocean, then there comes a great hustling wind or the great storm.
अनि त्यहाँनिर त्यो उसको वाइफले भन्नु थाल्छ, तिमीले मलाई समुद्र बीचमा मार्नुको लागि ल्यायो, अब म मर्छु भनेर एकदमै चिल्लाउनु कराउनु अत्तालिनु थाल्छ।
And wife tells her husband that you brought me into the middle of ocean to die. So because of that, she screams heavily.
अनि जब श्रीमानले भन्नु थाल्छ, न अत्ताल, परमेश्वरले हामीलाई जोगाउनुहुन्छ, बचाउनुहुन्छ, हामीलाई पार लाउनुहुन्छ भनिकिन थमथमाउनु थाल्छ।
And then husband tries to console her, telling that do not be dismayed, because there is a God who will put out of this situation.
अनि जब त्यस्तो सम्झौता पनि नबुझ्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो श्रीमानले चाहिँ चुप्पी निकालेर चाहिँ घाँटीमा यसरी ताक्छ उसलाई।
Even though husband was trying to console her, but wife, she was very much terrified, and she was not peace of mind. So because of that, that husband takes out a knife and put that knife on her throat.
अनि जब अन्त उसको श्रीमती निश्चिकै हाँसिकिन भन्छ, मलाई थाहा छ तपाईले मलाई चुप्पी गाड्नु पनि सक्नुहुन्न, न त तपाईले मलाई यो समुद्रमा फ्याल्न सक्नुहुन्छ, किनभने तपाईले मलाई माया गर्नुहुन्छ भनिकिन भन्छ।
And that wife smiles and tells to her husband that I know that you'll not able to slit my throat, or you won't be able to throw me down into the ocean, because I know that you truly love me.
अनि उसको श्रीमानले उसलाई भन्छ, तिमीलाई थाहा रहेछ त म तिमीलाई माया गर्छु, जुन माया म तिमीलाई गर्छु त्यो भन्दा ज्यादा माया चाहिँ प्रभुले हामीलाई गर्नुहुन्छ। हामीलाई यो समुद्रमा फ्याल्नु पनि सक्नुहुन्न, न त हामीलाई यहाँ मार्नुहुन्छ, हामीलाई निश्चय पार लाउनु हुन्छ भनिकिन उसको श्रीमानले उसलाई भन्छ।
And at that time, husband tells to her wife that, oh, you know that I truly love you, but you must also know this fact that there is a God who loves you more than I do to you. And this God, neither he will kill us here, nor he will throw us to the ocean. He is the God that can take us out of this situation.
नि अब यतिमै म गवाई राख्न चाहन्छु, किनभने समय पनि ठिकै 1 घण्टा अलिक ज्यादा भयो होला है। अनि मेरो लागि प्रार्थनामा याद गरिदिनुहोस्, किनभने मेरो छोरी छ 6 वर्ष पुग्नु आँट्यो, अनि मेरो आमा हुनुहुन्छ, बिमारी अलिक बिसन्चो नै हुनुहुन्छ, त्यसले गर्दा हामी 3 जना परिवार, मेरो बहिनी लप्चु बिहा भएको है। अनि त्यसैले हजुरको प्रार्थनाको अभिलाषी छु, मेरो लागि प्रार्थनामा याद गरिदिनुहोस्।
Now I'd like to wrap up my testimony because since I'm already out of time. And one thing I like to request that please do pray for my mother. She's sick, and also please pray for my daughter who is 6 years of old, and also please do pray for my sister who got married to the Lapchu. So please do pray for all of us.
हुन्छ धन्यवाद तपाईलाई तपाईले हजुरको बहुमूल्य समय दिकिन सुनिदिनु भयो निश्चय नै यो गवाईले हजुरलाई प्रेरणा आशिष र जीवन भएको छ भन्ने म चाहन्छु कहीं गल्ती भयो मान्छे मिस्टेक भए म दुखी छु म क्षमा प्राप्ति छु हजुर सबैलाई जय मसीह
So in this way I really covet your precious prayer, and I hope that through this testimony you are blessed, you are encouraged. And while giving my testimony, if I made any kind of mistake, then I do humbly apologize. Please do forgive me. And finally, Jai Masih, praise the Lord.
Jai Masih, सबैजनालाई हाम्रो YouTube च्यानल कपरनाम कुवेत el-shaddai तपाईहरु सबैजनाले माया गरिदिनुहोस्, प्रार्थना गरिदिनुहोस् अनि सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिनुहोस्। धन्यवाद।